Oasis TV, the network in service to humanity.
The joy you're looking for out there is actually there. It is the divine. The love we're looking for, I mean, God is love, is a statement that comes up again and again and again. That is something that is our essence. But this is not something we just have to understand and accept theoretically. I think the real challenge we're facing today is not just how do we understand this, I think that's beginning to happen, but how do we live it? How do we turn this into practice in our daily life? So as well as expanding the worldview to include a much richer understanding of spirituality that's relevant to the 21st century, it's actually how do we now understand spiritual practice? And that's what I'm most interested in. Things like prayer, I'm fascinated by. How does prayer become when instead of thinking of it as praying to some external being, we're praying to our own innermost essence? That shifts. How compassion changes when we recognize that every single being is absolutely the same as us in their deepest essence. Because I think what we are living through are the most exciting, most challenging times ever, I was going to say in human history, probably the most exciting, challenging times ever in the history of this planet. It's partly because of all the developments that are taking place, the science, the technology that's there, the internet. But I think that is small compared to what is really happening. The crisis we're facing is really, I think, a spiritual crisis. The crisis we're facing in terms of the environment, various aspects of society, it's actually because we've lost sight of what the great traditions have been trying to tell us for thousands of years. And we've got so wrapped up in our own materialistic worldview, we're ignoring it, or even ridiculing it. I mean, science tends to say, when some mystic says, I am God or something, they say, well, that's just clearly, a deranged mind, the result of too much meditation. How can anybody seriously think of that, I think what we're opening to is realizing the profound truth of that, and that is what is needed today. And that is something which is happening collectively in our society. In the past, it may have been an individual realized that, Muhammad, Buddha, Jesus, whatever, individuals realized that incredible wisdom, and they started teaching it to other people. But inevitably, what happens when you start teaching it and start passing it on, bits begin to get lost, bits begin to change, bits get forgotten. It's like taking a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. It gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And what I sometimes call truth decay. The truth just gradually decays over time. What's happening today is something different. I don't think it's ever happened in the history of humanity. It's happening globally. Is millions and millions of people are beginning to wake up and realize that essential wisdom. And it's like we're pulling ourselves up together. It's not like there's one of us who's got it and telling everybody else. I mean, there's certainly some people who have a lot of wisdom, are enlightened, quite a few maybe. But what's really happening is this grassroots movement pulling things together. And that's what I think makes these times so exciting.